Hi, welcome to Loft Data 1. My name is Diego, and today I'm talking about one of the most delightfully insane revenge movies I've ever seen, Eega, directed by S.S. Rajamouli. On paper, this movie sounds like a joke. A murdered guy is reincarnated as a housefly and spends the entire film trying to kill the rich businessman who killed him. In practice, it's charming, weird, emotional, and way more creative than it has any right to be, so I ended up loving it. Quick heads up, this review will contain spoilers because this movie has been out for over a decade. Sorry, not sorry. Also, I want to shout out and thank Vizwa and Charbonny for their recommendations. I appreciate it. At its core, the plot is fairly straightforward. Nani is a sweet, playful guy in love with his neighbor Bindu and has spent the last 2 years pining, singing, and orbiting around her. Bindu is a micro artist and a charity worker, carving tiny hearts into pencils and raising money for kids. Enter Sudeep, a wealthy businessman and a full-time menace who's used to getting whatever woman he wants. When he realizes that Bindu actually loves Nani and not him, he does the unthinkable. He kidnaps and murders Nani out of jealousy. Nani is reincarnated as a housefly and vows revenge, doing everything a tiny insect can possibly do to ruin Sudeep's life and protect Bindu. What makes the plot work for me is how it balances three things. Firstly, the genuine romance before the reincarnation. I love how much time we spend on goofy, heartfelt moments between Nani and Bindu before the murder. I love how thoughtful he is with her. He uses a flashlight to spotlight her room from across the street so she can continue working on her art. He walks her home at night so she can feel safe. These moments are cute, musical, and genuinely romantic. So when Sudeep strangles Nani right as Bindu texts, "I love you," it actually hurts. Secondly, I love the reincarnation and the fly world sequences. The whole sequence where Nani hatches from the egg, tries to remember his past life, and stumbles through this huge, dangerous world is fantastic. I love how he gets stuck in shoe treads, gets blown into bubbles by kids, and almost gets eaten by a bird. I love how he even falls into Sudeep's tea and almost drowns. Every bit of his familiarization with his new body is silly, and the CGI can look a little bit like late 90s video game cutscenes, but the animation and the physical comedy are so expressive I actually didn't care. Even as a fly, you can feel his fear, his awe, and then that switch when he remembers Sudeep and Bindu and decides, I'm going to get my revenge. No joke, the animation completely sells this movie. Thirdly, I love the escalation of revenge. This is where the plot truly shines. The movie doesn't just repeat one joke of fly annoys guy. It takes that idea and completely escalates it. Nani ruins Sudeep's sleep, his meetings, and even crazes him into running half naked through a business event. He causes a massive traffic jam and a near fatal crash, writing "I will kill you" on a windshield. He messes with Sudeep's vault password and burns all of his money. He also literally trains with Bindu, gets microscopic armor, knives, and eventually builds a tiny cannon to deliver his final blow. By the time we get to the finale with Sudeep's house collapsing, glass shards in his face, the movie has fully become this operatic, unhinged David versus Goliath showdown. Overall, the plot is simple but incredibly well executed, and the way it uses repetition while constantly changing the set pieces keeps the movie fun instead of boring. There are also a lot of great themes in this movie. Obviously, this is a revenge story. Nani dies for love, and his entire second life is dedicated to making sure the man who killed him pays for it. You can also feel that David vs. Goliath energy. Nani is just a fly, and Sudeep lives in a bulletproof glass fortress with thermal goggles and steam barriers. I love the underdog story of a physically weak hero going against a rich, powerful businessman who is seemingly untouchable. Lastly, I love the theme that love outlasts death. I love that Bindu and Nani's bond doesn't just add stakes, but it becomes part of the theme. I love how when Bindu is crying, Nani uses her tears to write that he is reborn. It's melodramatic, but it's also kind of beautiful. Which, speaking of the tone, it is all over the place in the best of ways. You've got slapstick comedy with Sudeep wrapping himself up like a mummy to avoid a fly and almost getting impaled in his sauna. You've also got some full-on horror occult with a hermit, a blood sacrifice, and demonic birds. You've also got tender romance with night walks, the micro art, and a meaningful pendant. And lastly, you've got incredible action set pieces with explosions, gunshots, and a man literally engulfed in fly-shaped flames. The tone is heightened and ridiculous, but it's consistently committed to that ridiculousness, and I love that this movie never half its ideas. Actor Sudeep plays Sudeep. He is easily the MVP of this movie. At the start, he's this smooth, arrogant womanizer bragging about how he can get any woman. You can almost see his villain origin story in his little monologues. Once Nani comes back as a fly, Sudeep's art is just pure entertainment. He goes from a suave and composed character to a completely unhinged maniac. He screams at his servants about flies, he buys 15,000 tons of fly repellent, and he loses money, sleep, and his sanity. It's a full-blown comedic meltdown as Nani destroys his life. Actor Nani also plays Nani. I love how these character names aren't any different from the actors' names. For American examples, it would be like in this film, Adele plays Adele, and in this film, Kanye plays Kanye. Nani doesn't get a ton of human screen time, maybe about 20 to 30 minutes, but for when he does get time, he makes it count. He's instantly likable, goofy, earnest, and absolutely smitten with Bindu. I loved his playful banter with his roommate, his little mental gymnastics, and his shift from playful to serious when he warned Sudeep to stay away from Bindu. After his death, all of that personality is carried into the animation of The Fly. I know I've already said it, but this is where this movie genuinely surprised me. I actually felt like I was still watching Nani and not just a random bug. The way he rubs his tiny legs together, breathes with relief, flexes on Sudeep's blood, or literally trains by lifting tiny baskets, it's so expressive that you forget he doesn't even have a face. Samantha Ruth Prabhu plays Bindu, and she was also a fun character. She's not just the girl being fought over. She actually grows as a character. At first, she teases Nani by playing coy and pretending not to care about him. After his death, she's grieving, trying to keep busy with her micro art and charity work. Once she realizes the Fly is Nani, she steps into full co-conspirator mode, making him microscopic armor, tiny knives, crafting his little gear, and even a tiny house. I love the full circle moment where her micro art skills become the weapon set for revenge. It's great character writing. Visually, let's talk some more about the elephant or the fly in the room. The CGI is nowhere even close to modern blockbuster quality. The Fly often looks like something from a late 90s or early 2000s CG movie. I mean, the Men in Black intro credits with the dragonfly look better than this movie. But to be completely honest with you, the CGI in this movie has some charm. I'm gonna beat a dead horse here, but the animation is so expressive. Seeing Nani shiver with rage, celebrate after small wins, and physically react to danger, grief, and determination was incredible. I deeply loved how the cinematography would often shift into this fisheye multi-lens fly vision whenever Nani is looking at the world. It helped sell how gigantic everything was to him. Teacups become oceans, car dashboards become landscapes, and the world is full of massive lethal objects. I love how because Nani is a fly, it can help set the stage for great action. I love the traffic jam and car crash. I love Nani dodging ritual birds in a smoky room. I love the final showdown with a collapsing ceiling and chandelier. Everything about this movie is kinetic and stylized, but at the same time, everything is also perfectly readable. Another thing that worked incredibly well for me was the music. Composed by M.M. Keeravani, the songs are memorable. The love songs about Nani wanting to see into Bindu's heart with a magnifying glass aren't just pretty, but they're integrated into the storytelling. It's a musical number that advances the characters and the relationship instead of pausing the plot. The revenge anthem when Nani fully embraces his fly identity is fantastic. The Eega, Eega, Eega chanting and dramatic rhythm instantly switch the mood into a tiny warrior on a mission. I also really love the sound design. I love the little buzzes of the fly. Depending on the context of the scene, they were exaggerated or softened. Nani's buzzing fit perfectly with the comedic timing in the film. It was ominous when needed and heroic during the climax. Despite this ridiculous story, the score is treated with complete sincerity and passion, so I have zero complaints. Eega takes a premise that should not work even a little, and it delivers something wildly creative, hilarious, heartfelt, and legitimately memorable. Between Sudeep's god-tier villain meltdown, Bindu's touching transformation into a tiny weapons engineer, and Nani's expressive, determined, and oddly heroic journey as a literal housefly, this movie commits to every choice with full sincerity, and that's what makes it special. Yeah, the CGI is dated and janky, and yeah, it's absurd, but the creativity, music, action sequences, character arcs, and emotional beats absolutely soar past its limitations. I was laughing, I was entertained, I was invested, and honestly, I was rooting for this fly like he was a Marvel superhero. Eega embraces its insanity and turns it into something magical, charming, and unforgettable. So I would 100% recommend it to anyone who wants a movie that's truly unlike anything else out there. Thank you for listening to my review of Eega. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like and hit subscribe. If you did not enjoy the content, thank you for sticking around. As always, I would love to read what you have to say, so leave a comment and let me know what you're thinking. Also, if there's something you want to see reviewed, don't forget to let me know and I will do my best to get to it. Biz1 Shaborni, thank you again for your requests. Lastly, if you want to see some more from me, then you can check out my vlogs linked up above or my podcast, Good Friends. Again, thank you for watching. My name is Diego and I will see you next time.